Yeah, the weather hits 30 degrees and everybody's out and about. I get it. So we're gonna do the meeting minutes. It's pretty short. We had a brief meeting for January where we just did bills and a quick discussion of our budget planning process. Questions on those guys?
No.
I'll make a motion to approve those.
I'll second
All
that.
right, all in favor?
Aye.
Great. I will open the floor to public comment and we'll start with Zoom. Can you check the lobby as well? Make sure no one's waiting.
Yes.
Anybody in the room for public comment? We'll do another one at the end as well, but in case somebody wants to speak their piece and get out of here, we give you a chance. All right. We'll move on to the treasurer's report. Oh, Belinda, you're up.
So the only thing that I've got for this month is just the surcharge for the visitor center sales. The village used to pay $90 per month for the merchant services. Now, the first 6 months we didn't pay anything, and we're going to start paying now. So whoever pays, you can buy a credit card. So my suggestion is that we just the village just pay the 2.6% per transaction, which is going to work out much cheaper in any way. Pay the transactions are not that much. Like people pay by credit card.
Yeah, it's tricky to do if you have different cash and credit card pricing. There's a lot of like correct ways to list it, and it's easier just to not. I agree. Yeah.
That's what I thought. I just looked at whatever you are allowed to do and what not. But I mean, we will just accept the same price for cash and credit card. And I just want to.
Yeah, I think that's fine with me.
I guess.
So we're talking like a couple $100 a season, right? It's not a huge.
Yeah, we're talking about annual sales like $1,000.
Yeah, so it's a $20.
And most purchases are under $100.
Right. Okay. Yeah, so we'll probably be under $50 total for fees. So that's fine. Cool.
That's all from my side, except for the bills. 2.6% plus.
I think. Yeah. Did anyone have any questions on the bills? I didn't. But make a motion to pay the bills.
I'll second.
In favor? Aye.
I'm going to abstain. I didn't see them.
I only need 3. So you're like.
Okay, that's why I did that. I haven't seen them. I got here late. Sorry.
All right. So Lynn had a bit of a
Emergency.
fiasco at his own house's water that he's dealing with all day. So I've got a couple things that I'll bring up later that somewhat relate to that, but any other things we want to make a note to ask Lynn about later?
I checked in with him and he's getting ready to submit his budget. Things have been going well. Other than they had that water main break on East Main, but I think that was before our last meeting. So I think everybody's aware of that. So yeah, he didn't have anything new.
All right. We'll move on to Officer Gleason.
That's pretty short, not much since the last meeting. I'm just continuing up with like the overnight parking checks and trying to help the DPW make sure everybody's abiding by that. Do you have any questions or anything exciting that I need to know about?
I do have a question.
Okay.
We gave the DPW permission to give tickets on Main Street. Does that count on the side streets? I know we verbally gave permission.
Did you take on the minutes for that? Did we notate where? I thought it was just on the street. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I think
thought it was just
I
Main
think
Street.
one ticket that was issued on Ambrose got thrown out because.
Yes, but it was on the other, no, it was General Smith Drive. It was literally right across and it was right after that. And she fought it and got it thrown out because Jared signed it, not a police officer.
Which it's something that goes back to way before my time.
Mhm.
Cause I know like Dennis and John and all them.
Mhm. I don't care that it was thrown out. I don't think she'll park there again. I was just curious if that had ever, like, she got thrown out because they were like, it's not a police officer, it's a DPW guy. So,
Something that predates.
okay. I was just being curious.
Yeah, I mean, the purpose is to discourage it.
Right, and I guarantee she won't park there again
Yeah.
because it was a big
Somebody's
deal.
parking there every day because of it.
She
Well,
was a little upset about it.
Traveled very fast.
I'm sure she was furious. So I was like, okay.
John, why so many school checks?
I mean, just helping Troy keep things
Okay,
over there. Like, we'll watch the parent pick up the student pick up and drop off.
okay,
Because especially this time of year with the snowbanks, it limits visibility and then everybody's, I don't know how many kids ride the bus versus how many kids get picked up and dropped off. But it seems like you have lines all the way down to the
Yeah.
soccer field entrance.
yeah,
They're just trying to keep
okay.
things under control and make sure it's
That's
slowing down.
Excuse me.
Figure it's easier to sit out there and discourage people from driving recklessly than do the accident reports afterward.
Okay, thanks.
anything else for John, guys? Thank you, sir. Do you have anything from the fair?
I'll do it in my report.
David?
Yeah, you should have my report, just a few things. I just gave you a copy of a resolution and out before the last January meeting. So the village is a certified climate smart community of the New York State program. And it's really complicated, but basically the purpose is to encourage communities to do things that are use carbon use and that sort of thing. So the village is certified, get to the next step, which is bronze level. We have to earn a certain number of points. And when you earn a certain number of points, then you become eligible for grants. So one of the things that earn actually quite a few points is that the village appoints a task force. So that's what this resolution is for. They gave me the template for it. So that's what that is. And there's a list of people I subtract out. I would just ask that you pass that resolution.
I assume you checked for them.
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
they're all.
So, we were debating whether because Sarah's out and I didn't get word back if they had seen it. Is it pressing enough that it's
No.
important okay, so we're gonna,
There's no deadline.
we had a couple questions on language, but I'm sure it'll be fine. We'll push that to next month. if
Yes,
that's cool.
that's. The other thing is that there's a AARP, whatever, American Association of Retired Persons. Hat. Anyway, has a grant available that the housing authority could potentially use. So they're small grants. The maximum grant for this category is 15,000. They usually average like 10 to 12,000. But it has to be either a municipality or not a 501c3 or not. So
Okay.
if it's all right, we'd like to put in, or
That'd be great.
the village putting in the grant. There's really no match. They like to see a little small match, but they have funds that you use, a couple thousand.
Okay.
So if I can just, I don't need a formal resolution, but just have.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks for checking.
I'm sorry, the second side.
That for the,
Woolsey.
This is it's not really senior housing, but for the housing over near the school.
and how much?
Well, the average grant's about 10 to 12,000. So they have, I think some of you know, they had kind of a big conditions assessment on. So they have a laundry list of work that needs to be done. So we're just picking out the best items to submit for that. It'll be off that list that an architect did it. So,
Perfect.
so I'm helping them with that. It's not too bad of a grant. So that's all I have for now.
And I know we've been back and forth on, I've talked to some people, the contractors, and you have as well about the electric.
Yeah,
I think that might be something that,
This is for the EV charging stations. Yeah, I've contacted National Grid again. The program's still open. They're actually requesting, I guess they have to go to the Public Utilities Commission to get approved for more funding. They've got the funding, they just have to. So it's still open. They have a certified list of contractors. I've talked to 3 of the 4 that are within basically an hour of us. It's kind kind of complicated. And I'm trying to put together a scope of work to get quotes from the contractor. So
Yeah, when I talked to them, they had a very, some wanted it to be paid up front, and some were like, we'll do it for free, but we want 30% of the revenue for X years. So
Yeah,
it's tough to evaluate, but
I talked to 3 different ones, and each one told me a different story about how it works.
Yeah.
First, the funding isn't as good as it may appear. National Grid takes its costs front, for what they have to do to hook up, But I'm hoping by the next meeting I'll have.
Okay. Yeah, if you need like another person to call, I'm happy to chat with them about it.
Yeah,
Because-
yeah, if you want, I know you had somebody.
Yeah, he was a little salesy guy. Sometimes they push a little hard, and I think maybe it's not the right guy.
The 3 I talked to were all easy to talk to. They spend a lot of time. It's just trying to get, and it's kind of a reverse program. You have to do all the work and then you really submit.
Mhm.
There's really not a grant application. You
Okay.
do
Like
the
a
work with One
reimbursement?
of their contractors, then that contractor leads you through the whole thing and helps you submit the paperwork. So you have to spend money, do the work, and then kind of put in for the grant reimbursement at the end.
Okay.
So,
Does that affect how many stations there would be?
well, that's something the village board has to decide at some point, but they help you make that decision. So it's kind of backwards.
Okay.
In the way it works, but yeah. I think we're looking at 2 to 4, and I think they are class 2 or something like that. Yeah, charging station, so. Does that answer your question? Hope?
Yeah. Is that enough?
Well, I guess it's a matter of how much the village wants to spend, and I'll have those details for you.
Usually with these, there's like there's a sweet spot in the reimbursables. So like
Yeah,
they might give you 30% or 50% up to 4, and then 6 they'd only give you less. So they kind of often there is a right decision from just a financial standpoint, and if we wanted to add more later, we could.
It's okay to add later.
yeah.
Are we looking at a certain location or?
Lynn and I.
A couple of ideas. We
Yeah.
said a couple downtown and maybe 1 or 2 back here.
Here, we also talked about in the strip
Center.
between the two
I
parking lots.
I remember that.
At the end, there's a pull station that goes to the lights that should be able to
Visitor center would
reuse
be that
stuff.
spot.
Okay, so,
Yeah.
and the visitor center too.
One of the big expenses is running the line from the nearest power source.
Yeah.
So the closer you can get the EV
Yeah.
station to an existing
Mhm.
utility line, that has that capability that's how you minimize the cost. So it's those things, but you really have to choose a contractor first and have them.
You need a contractor to even get an estimate of how much one would cost? Because that would seem a little backwards.
I got some figures.
Okay.
Okay, but it depends, it's very kind of site specific,
Okay.
but that's what I'm trying to get all of that information, and it's just like.
Nothing ever
The
works
National
well.
Grid guy was good to talk to, but he wasn't helpful in that sort of way, and
Okay.
anyway,
No worries.
but I'll have more information next meeting.
Sounds good. Any other questions for Dave, guys?
Yeah, the location, why not at the new marina area? I mean, that's all new power out there, isn't there? Wouldn't it be easily?
Well,
accessible?
one of the factors is, they'll be tying up parking space, and yeah, that's
Yeah,
possible.
but they're not
Yeah,
there for long.
that's possible, yeah.
And it's good for the tourism.
Yeah, well, and that's why we thought, the visitor center, same,
Mhm.
so that's up, and it's up to the board, but we really need a contractor to also give us advice about, from their
Yeah,
point of view.
there's 4 or 5 spots, and
Yeah.
it's,
Okay.
they'll tell us which ones are gonna have,
No,
30 feet of
that's-
conduit and which ones will have 0.
Thank you.
I think it's a good idea. Really like to see it.
These would be universal though.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Kathy?
I put both in reports just in case you didn't see last month's, since we had a break meeting, but I did talk to the contractor, confirmed that we are the first job in the spring for our porch to be done. So that should hopefully be set. I'm working with the chamber to do the new visitor guide. We're gonna move to a smaller, what they call it, digest size magazine. So it's like a farmer's almanac kind of size publication. That is the most cost effective one you can print. So we're working on that. And then also just a reminder, it is the last couple weeks to get your hometown hero band application. I need. So the application plus photos plus payment. Just by the end of the month. We already got a lot, actually.
When's the deadline for that hometown here again? The end of this month, right?
Yeah, I think, well, we said March 1st, but if technically it's February 27th, it's March 1st, I think is the Sunday. But if you still get it to us in a second.
Any questions for Kathy?
When you talked to the contractor about being the first job for the spring, did you let him know that if he doesn't carry that out, that we're gonna switch contractors? Like, I think we were pretty firm about it last time, right?
Yeah, I said that the board decided that we'll stick with you as long as you're your first stop. If we think you're your first stop, we have to go.
Okay.
elsewhere.
All right.
Which was when? When?
He was supposed to do it at the beginning of spring last year.
I know, but I mean, when
I
does
mean,
he?
it's weather dependent, right? So
Yeah.
basically he just said as soon as things thaw, because it's the porch. And so all of the ice obviously
Yeah.
has to melt and everything. But yeah, he said as soon as we get past the sort of melting and sloppy period, then he can start. And he estimates it'll be done in less than 2 weeks.
All set.
Thank you.
Next up is the planning board. Janet?
My report was a short way, the planning board met in January, and we had a project review. And we have a couple items on the agenda for February, so it's a slow time. We're working along a little bit. But nothing big on the horizon.
Any questions for Janet, guys?
Yes, on your report, you mentioned that the village, you're recommending that we review and discuss temporary structures. I thought we were waiting for you guys to come up with, you're waiting on us to do something for that?
Right, you hadn't looked at the January report either.
No, I hadn't. So I'm looking at this and it says that you recommend that we discuss and review regulations pertaining to those temporary structures. But I thought it was the other way around. I thought we were waiting for you to bring us something.
Well, my understanding was that well, there has traditionally been a committee that helps with rewriting zoning.
I thought we
That's
had
different
one.
Than the planning board.
We're gonna get, I mean, Jen and I we're gonna get together because there's a couple other.
Okay, I just read this and it looked like that you were waiting for something from us and I thought I was waiting for something from you. So I just wanted to clarify.
We've had that list for the zoning committee to discuss, like the short-term rentals, the
Yeah.
temporary structures, and I forget the other stuff.
I do agree that we need to deal with the temporary structure because the temporary structure in question looks horrible this year. It's got crater holes in it and it looks like it's in the worst condition it's ever been. And I don't even know if they're using it, to be honest.
And I've had a few phone calls and emails about that, and I think I included it just to, in general, put pressure on everybody. It's like,
Okay. I just want to make sure that we're not holding you up because I didn't feel like I knew you wanted our input, but I thought I was waiting for something from you in order for me to give you that input.
just keep going.
Okay.
Because really,
Consider it bugged then. That's what I'm doing.
it comes around again. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the thing, it's not supposed to be up there, but the planning board hasn't wanted to shut down a local business in the winter if it's not necessary. So, and it's an awkward situation. It's like,
It
well,
is.
It doesn't comply, but we're trying to be helpful. Either we need to change the law and find a.
I'll be honest, up until this year, I was pretty open to it, but this year, the condition of it is absolutely horrible. There's huge holes in it and it looks very bad compared to what it used to look. It's something went through it. I don't know if a human went through it or what, but it's got a crater hole in the middle of it.
Right.
And I don't know if they're even able to use, it just look, and of course the hole is on Main Street side. And I walk by there all winter long. That's my walk. And I walk by and I'm like, there's a huge hole there. And it just doesn't look good. And it wasn't that bad before. So I'm sure over time it's
Either
gotten,
way, we've discussed, like, we just need to establish. if
I think we
we're
just
going
need to
allow
bite the
structures
bullet and
what
just
we're-
one way or the other. So we're going to make someone mad one way or the other. We just need to figure out which, we just need to make a decision.
We can have guidance on it too and say temporary structures are, here are the rules for them, duration wise and style wise. Not necessarily they're not or they are.
That was, I think one of the ideas was how they're done, not.
Right, because like if you look up at the boatyard has those nice igloos that they use, like technically that's a temporary structure. And so we just have to
I
decide.
just feel like this comes up every year and sometimes it's, they've put it up and then we discover it. They don't ask us first. And I don't want to hurt a company. I don't want to do that. I don't want a business. I don't want to do anything to hinder someone. However, and I'm also very hands-offy. Like I don't like sending messages to Tin Pan that they have blue tarp that has been there my whole life. It's always been blue tarp and we're yelling at them. Like that kind of stuff I don't want to get nitpicky about. However, the temporary structure on Main Street with a hole in it, I'm like,
Yeah,
like
I think-
conflicted with not wanting to be a pain in someone's butt, but on the other hand,
Yeah, I think we just need to establish what we define as temporary, the duration they're allowed to be there and what the aesthetic criteria are.
so
Just like we have that for like a
Correct.
non-temporary structure.
I just feel like we keep kicking the can down the road though. So I'm kind of pressing right now that what do we need to do so that this conversation does not happen again in the spring or in the fall? So what do you need? Do you need?
We'll try to get some, some suggested guidelines to you by like next meeting.
Okay. I would feel better if that
It's really
came.
to have it hashed out, but you're right. If we wait 3 months. then we do
We're
have
just, we're gonna have this conversation. It's been 5 years. It's been since COVID, which was 2021, 2020. I just don't want to keep having this conversation. I feel like we keep kicking it down the road and we know we're gonna make someone upset. It is what it is. I don't want to do that, but we need to address it one way or the other. So I'm gonna be the one to say, where are we at?
It's like, just tell me what the rule is and I will follow.
Okay, then let's write the rule
And
then.
we've had, the planning board's had a number of emails and I've had some phone calls. It's like, that's not allowed. Why are you allowing? So it's like, I feel like we need to validate where is our community on this?
I've also gotten messages and my response is I don't want to hurt a local business. I don't. And I do support them in whatever way that I feel we can. But I do understand the historical context, but I also don't want the historical context to get in the way of helping a business either. So it's like that fine line of how do we do both? And I think we just need to figure out, but we have this conversation every year and I want to make sure we don't have it again. So what do we need to do to get it done? So that's where I'm at with that. Thank you. I'm on your page. That's all. That was the only question I had.
Yeah, and then Greg and I were discussing earlier, the bottom bullet there. When we talked about this last year, when,
What's the block?
sorry, the historical non-overlay district historical buildings. And I think Greg had said, he remembered it better than I did. Paul Warnick had discussed the process when it was built, when it was, or not built, implemented. I guess.
Yes. I do remember this.
And I think it would require any individual that is adjacent to it to opt into it. So like, if you guys thought this building is one property outside the historic overlay, it's a historic building, that would be, to my mind, a discussion to have with the property owner and say, do you want to petition to join the overlay district? But I don't think the village board can go to somebody who bought a house outside the district and say, now it's in the historical overlay without their consent. And it seemed to be what everyone thought was true last time. So I'm not against, if you guys have a list of ones that you want to go and approach, I just don't know how receptive each property owner would be.
I think part of an idea was that the overlay district could theoretically be changed, but then that opens a can for discussion, which is healthy sometimes.
Sure.
Because that was 40 years ago or whenever those lines were drawn. And a lot of times people can't really even explain why the line is where it is. Or another is a voluntary opt into a designation process that just gives the building status that the owner says, I want this. I want this in there.
I feel like I support that way. I don't want to force someone into something, but if it offers them, I don't know, grant opportunities to do some renovations, or if they
Yeah.
want that designation
What
and they
does
want.
it give the resident?
I don't think it gives the resident anything in terms of grant opportunities, if something's on the National Register, but then you're held to a very high standard.
Right,
that
right.
Most people don't want to.
The only thing it does is it requires them to fulfill any renovations they want to do
Right.
now are under our historic planning, where
Right.
before they have some other
And I think
choices.
there's different ways you could write, like a local landmarks law. There's, New York State has a model, so we have to go through, figure out what's comfortable for this community. But,
I
the
think,
example I pointed out, that structure in Washington is a great example. It's like it's totally unprotected by our local zoning, and I feel we're fortunate that somebody purchased it that's investing in it instead of.
That one's not in the overlay?
Oh, that.
Oh.
I could put it-
And I would say not for nothing,
Well, thankfully he bought it because it looks amazing.
also, it might be like, he doesn't have to go through as many hoops, which makes it a little, I would argue, more attractive, right? So it's
Yeah.
like, he might not have been as keen to do it if he also had another, every time he wanted to, because he's changing stuff every 3 days.
But somebody could buy it and put pink vinyl siding on it, and we would have nothing to say about
Correct,
Mm.
yeah.
it, you know, and that.
well,
Very what the
if you remember what Paul said, that was a year ago, is there was really no rhyme or reason to how that overlay district was created. They basically went door to door and asked people if they wanted to be in it. And if they said no, they drew the line around it. So I think if we're gonna look at this, I think we need to go back and we need to look at how that district was established, and was it established in an appropriate manner? Should there be a set of criteria that we use to find that district? I think we need to go back to the drawing board on this one. Because if you look at that line goes all over the place. It makes no sense whatsoever.
I also think it, like, to some extent, the building itself, like, I'm trying to get the cedar shingles on the wine shop replaced, and that's gonna be a pain, but the building's 200 years old. And to me, that makes more sense than someone building something new, making it look like it was old. And so, like, I don't know if there's any wiggle room in what the actual overlay implies and does, depending on the property's age itself, but
I'm just sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. When people buy, are they told it's in the historical, like when they, so they have no idea until after it's already?
I mean, I don't think I ever.
I'm just curious, because if I bought a house and I had intentions and then I found out it was in the historic district and I can't do what I want to it,
the seller should be.
I'm thinking that's a little annoying. I didn't know that going into it.
That's happened several times.
It has happened. That's why I'm like, is there a way for us to prevent that from happening? Because some
It's-
people buy a house with a certain budget and then they go to do renovations and now we're telling them, oh, wait, you can't put that door on there because you live in the historic district. And I
It's really.
don't know, but when I was younger and I had a tighter budget, I couldn't do stuff like that. And I don't want to hurt someone from.
It's the real.
Yeah, it's a seller disclosure.
I mean, I understand, but, you buy a house, you gotta ask some questions.
I mean, I agree with you. I just didn't know if there was a.
On house and, okay, what's the zoning on this?
Right.
You know,
Right.
Pretty
and I
helpful.
think, it's kind of.
People take people's word, like that's over at Harbor Haven. That was one of the complaints from the Funny Side people. They said, well, when I bought this house, they told me no one could develop behind me. And it's like, well, I don't know who that they is, but they'd lie to you for sure, because Derby Drive is already approved, well, it's now expired, but there was gonna be a whole nother copy and paste of that behind you. And so I do think that there are some things where, like, a homeowner could sue the seller and say, you didn't disclose this thing, just like if there was a groundwater issue or like a paint issue, there's all those disclosures, but most people just.
Public, it's a public, I mean, you're put on public notice because all you gotta do is ask what the law is. That's not.
I haven't bought a house in a while, so I didn't know if that was one of the questions that people ask. Like, is this is that a question that someone would generally ask? Hey, I'm buying a house in Sackets. Oh, is it part of the?
There are not that many historical districts, so people don't know to ask.
That was my question.
Just one follow-up comment on that, your comment about do people know, and if somebody didn't know, they'd be upset. That's an ongoing thing Jim Corbin and I talk about, like, and we've had some instances in the last year, someone decides to set up a business on Main Street.
Mhm.
And they think, oh, I'm gonna start a business. And they don't know
Mm.
that, oh, I have to get a permit to get a sign, or there's a rule about what just, I think we need to continue to strive to improve our communication.
I would agree.
So many things, especially right now with the business climate, the way it is. I think we want to be as business friendly as we can.
Yeah.
But respect the integrity of what our zoning has been.
Yeah.
Is our website on those particular issues up to date? Because people are going online now, right?
Because I think we've talked about before having when someone, the most consistent touch point we have is water signups. So when somebody buys a property,
Yes.
typically they sign up for water. And we don't always know if they're renting or not, but we can ask. And we could just make a packet for
I've talked about
village
that
residents in
before.
general, and
Do
then
like a
it's
welcome packet.
a flyer that gets added in if your residence or business is within the overlay as just a, really just a polite FYI. Might be,
People generally, we get a lot of people that didn't realize that they had to call and have it changed over to their name.
oh, sure.
And which I find remarkable, but we do have a packet that I send out.
You do?
For new residents, and that
Okay.
basically is giving, any, the websites and the hours of operation and.
Okay.
So maybe we should just let's look at that and see if
Yeah,
there's
maybe
things. we
that
wanna
can be a
add or
summer
change.
project that we can update that, maybe add some things from zoning. I don't know if
The zoning law is on our website.
it is.
Yes.
Okay.
Kind of like an old fashioned welcome wagon used to do here.
Yes. Yes. My son bought a house in South Carolina, and when he signed up for water, they literally handed him a one pager that was like, these are great places to eat. This is where your post office is. And I was like, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
The library.
Yes, these are the library. If you have a child, this is a great playground to go to. Like, it was very nice as a new family to a brand new neighborhood that I was like, oh, we should do that for seconds. Like, that should be good for new families moving into town.
We do that.
Okay. Sorry, didn't mean to ask so many questions. Okay.
All right, anything else for Janet, guys? To Corey and Brendan.
I don't have a lot tonight. One thing on the ready projects, so trying to close out FEMA. So FEMA sent their last payment in December. So the last remaining item of FEMA is administration costs. So the village is entitled to administration costs for administering the grants. We submitted a package basically with BCA backup to them. So it's kind of an ever changing process. So I would say October, November, I think they sent us form to close out, signed the forms, got online, closed out. And then I think once the process kind of goes through a second set of eyes, they review it. Well, the village is entitled to another $4,700 in administration costs. So, which is a good thing. So kind of started that process. So that's why you saw there's some things to sign to hopefully get that back. It changed since I sent it to you yesterday. So I've got it.
Oh, it's new again.
I've got one
Okay.
to sign. So, good news, another $4,700.
Cool.
And, that's it for kind of the ready stuff and just kind of helping Dave with LWRP and ready, trying to get that closed out.
You had mentioned, the houses, how many was it on Outer Dodge that don't have connection to sewer in the village?
There are around 8 homes.
They mentioned just if that was something that those residents would be interested in, pooling that with our next application might help or might change things because it adds residents. And just to catch everyone up in case we did not get the award, I think I mentioned last time, but basically we're just going to proceed and apply again. And instead of being shovel ready, next time we'll be shovel working. As long as we don't finish the project before, we still have a shot at getting it, but at a certain point, we have to just do the replacements. So that's something that if it makes sense, we'll I'll talk to Lynn and maybe he'll stop at the homes and see if people are interested in what it would take. And then we can add that to the application if it makes sense.
Yeah, it'll help out. Some of the point scorers have shifted. For those that have individual septic systems that are having issues, they give you more points to score. So instead of just replacing old municipal sewer system, you're replacing septic systems that have issues.
Where on Outer Dodge? Is it before you come up the hill into the village? Is that Outer Dodge?
Well, if it's it's gotta be before the
Before the bridge?
If
Yeah,
it's
it's
in the
between
village, it's gonna be
houses.
those last 8.
So it's before. They get a lot of flooding. So I would wonder if there's a lot of sewer
Yeah.
issues just because they're constantly flooded.
Right,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I bet they would be interested in doing something.
I mean, there are other locations in the village, but I doubt, like on 75 near the water storage tank.
There is.
There's not sewer, but
No.
they're much more spread out. So the
Mhm.
cost to get them included is going to be higher.
Mhm.
So not as easy.
Yeah, cause we're like, we've never even thought about it. We're a mile from there and then you
Right.
still have to trunk it into the school, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
That's just a short run.
But yeah, on the water sewer upgrades, we've got essentially a preliminary alignment for the water and sewer that we're replacing. And I guess the next thing I'd like to sit down with Lynn and others that are interested to review that preliminary alignment, because we will need some easements from property owners. As we're missing other utilities, we'll be right on that right of way line, and we typically try to get a 20-foot wide easement, 10 foot on either side of the line for that. And there'll be some impact to some trees too, so I'll have to have some of those conversations. And usually the easements are one of the longer things to take, depending on how many you need. We haven't counted how many yet. Yeah, get there. Alex, you'd also mentioned Northern Border Regional Commission grant. I don't know if that's the time to talk about it.
I just want to make sure you had eyes on it. I didn't have any home run ideas for it, but I just thought
Yeah,
there's so many that pop up. I don't know which
Yeah,
ones
I
you guys
mean,
had eyes on.
it's definitely one we've had submitted to our communities in the past and been successful on some, but it's basically, is it 10 states? It's the New England states that are all on this. And the pre-application, it used to be just a letter of interest. And then they said, oh yeah, submit an application. Now the packet it's almost like a complete funding application.
Okay.
And they could tell you, no, you're not applicable, to submit a final application. So they raised the bar quite a bit. One thing I will state, though, adding in the 1812 estate subdivision, one of the state priorities obviously is housing. Adding that in would help the application, but it is a tough application. I would, if I was gonna be a betting person, I'd still put it on the WE application that we've spent several times that we got, but MBRC is even more competitive and hard to get.
Yeah, I mean, we have good luck with enough grants. I don't think we need to take real risky bets that it cost a lot up front to do. But I don't know how to evaluate that without checking with you. So
Yeah, and it's a tough one. I just, in our experience, we've submitted, we've had more luck with WIA grants than we have MBRC.
Can you, a reminder on where the water and sewer upgrades, we're focusing on East Main? Or East Main, where are we
East
looking?
Main from Broad all the way out.
Okay,
That'll be just water. Then we have Outer Dodge,
okay,
which is water unless people want some sewer.
okay.
Then we have
Washington Place.
Okay, so all the places that were on Lynn's list a couple years ago, that's what we're trying to include.
It's all the ones.
I just wanted to make sure that those were all the places. I know East Main needs to be done for sure.
I think
Okay.
the water main breaks he had, there was two, right? One on East Main and one on
Yes.
Wolsey and.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
Yeah.
which isn't far. It was right around the corner
Right.
from exactly where the one on East Main was.
Yeah.
East Main, I got hit with that one. It was in my basement. Yeah, yeah. I know, it was, the day it was like 30 below zero and I went to go get something out of the basement and I'm like, why am I hearing water? I should not be hearing water. It's 30 below zero. Thank God my husband was home. I was like, I hear water in the basement. There should not be water. And he looked and he goes, let me go check. And he went upstairs and he looked out and right out there, you could see water in the front, like on the sidewalk in front of that Stooley Park, actually. And I live right across the street from Stooley Park. So it was flooded and I was like, oh, there we go. That's where the water main break was. So, but it was funny. Lynn must have not, it must have been leaking because the week before that, he called me and said, I feel like there's water running somewhere. Can you check your basement? And I'm like, my basement's dry. And we're watching my neighbor's house. And so we went over there and I'm like, hers is dry too. So it must have been dripping somewhere else. And then it finally went when it went.
So I sent Lynn and Corey a message because I get the continuous flow alerts. And for the first time ever, the village's main meter was on it.
Okay.
And I'm like, that in the winter, that makes no sense. The water towers should be off somewhat.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was looking at the math and I'm like, if it's running that much an hour, that's like our peak usage.
Right.
And so he called someone who, I guess, stethoscopes the hydrants at midnight or
Yeah.
like 2 a.m. and
Yeah.
finds where it's running. And so he knew it was near there, but he's like.
We couldn't find it.
The frozen
Right.
ground.
Yeah.
Right.
I will say the church right in front of the parish hall on this end, that was flooded and like roped off for a while. And people are like, why is that? I'm like, there was a lot of water there. So then after this water main break, I was like, maybe it was over there
It
too.
might have been leaking.
And it might have been leaking over there. And then when they hit the water main break and they finally got it, it fixed it. But I was like, I think for almost a week, we were losing a lot of water until we figured out it finally blew and you could literally see it in the road. Yeah, it was pretty good. And it was cold
Yeah.
and miserable. So, okay. Sorry, I was just making sure what East Main was on there so that I don't have to go through that again.
So we're continuing through, design on that and hope to have, like a more, if we submit for we again this summer, to have a packaged together that's more complete for that. Lastly, just the 1812 estate subdivision, I'll be submitting to DEC. They wanted more of a basis design report to our feasibility report. So we added some more design calculations in there as far as wastewater treatment plant can handle the additional 20 lots. Here's the estimated flows. Here's the average, water usage for the last, 5 years. So it's about 200 gallons per EDU, all those things on there. So I'll be submitting that to Paula Jacobs this week for review and also to Claude Fairley at DOH. So hopefully they'll have a fairly quick review on those. Get copies of that. That's it.
Cool. Anything else for BCA, guys?
The 1812 estate.
That's the LDC.
It's on Ambrose Street.
That's the LDC property on Ambrose. We named it, or somebody named it 1812 something.
It needs a name to have.
It needed a name to do the applications.
Cool.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
Not much to report. That would be good. Getting ready to do water billing again. And,
Slightly less time each time I do it. Anything from community orgs?
I got, for two actually. The first is the Historical Society and the Battlefield Alliance are having a combined annual meeting on Thursday, February 12th. Everyone's in, remember or not, it's in the Union Hotel at 7:00 Thursday, 7:00 in the Union Hotel. The other one, this is on behalf of the school. It's going to be sort of a public information meeting on March 26th at 6:00, I believe in the NPR. And that's the school is going to be going through some real fiscal challenges in the next couple of years. And its purpose of the meeting is to try to start bringing the public, informing the public about what's right. Everyone knows the rising costs, health insurance, all insurance and other fixed, non-discretionary spending that the school is incurring. So it just to start the process, and because it's the next few years are going to be really. So, once again, everyone's invited. March 26th at 6:00
At the school.
at the school. Yeah.
And what is this what is this called?
Well, I don't think it has kind of a.
It's just for the school. It's
Public information.
Superintendent will
Okay.
present the school board, will presenting information and answering questions and all that kind of stuff.
That isn't one of the days we had scheduled for our budget meetings, was it?
No, we have March 10th and March 18th.
Thank you, sir. Eric?
Kurt Constance, Sackets Harbor Local Development Corporation. I just want to remind you, we're doing 20 lots down Ambrose Street. We need to put the infrastructure, actually laterals in. We already have the water and sewer down through their natural gas. But we got to put the laterals to the lots. So we've had discussions with it. 2 members of this board are on our board. We originally were going to go with this capital campaign that's going on, but that didn't happen. So what we need to look at, or will cost us another year, is whether or not the village / the town want to take this project on. If you do, it should be part of your budget.
We, I spoke with Lynn and Supervisor Arthur and Mark Warnick. Lynn and Mark are hoping to review something once the engineering has at least laid out what the expectations are. So I don't know if we want to wait for DOH to approve it, or if you guys have it loose enough that that would be useful for them. But the plan was for DPW, Town Highway, and Beth and I to sit down and review it once we had something to look at, and maybe have you guys there as well. Because that's what they need to decide if they think their departments can handle it, and what they need to do it. And then obviously that will inform what it will cost us to plan for it.
I would say we could probably do it prior to DOH approval.
Okay.
I think we have far enough
All
along.
right. So yeah, whenever, if you want to let me know when you guys are ready, we'll wait for a break in the snow. So those, Mark and Lynn can see straight and sit down. I had mentioned to Eric earlier today also, we had discussed pre-selling some of the lots to fund it rather than taking on municipal debt. I've got tentative interests, developer is open to paying, they said 60K a lot instead of the 80, and managing the entire project and taking on the cost up front. But they didn't want to pay for the lots up front. They wanted to pay us out 60K per lot as they sold, which does de-risk the project. So if we decide we don't want to take on the budgetary thing, that's one option. And if we do it that way, we don't necessarily have to go with this person. We could also put it out to bid and say, this is what we're looking for. If there's anyone else interested that can give us a better deal, we can take it. So that's another way to approach it if we wanted to. But I'll know whether that's an option or more necessary once I sit down with Lynn and Mark and see if they think they want to take on this project themselves or not.
But if we need to include it in this year's budget, we're meeting in 2 weeks, and we need to know prior to that what we're going to be doing. So we're meeting the 24th for the general meeting or the general budget.
We'll sit down with Lynn and Mark before then, and if these guys are ready now, and at least get a basic idea.
We need an idea before we meet the 24th, which is not that long. That's 2 weeks from now.
Yep. Sounds good.
Wasn't there another thought about selling a portion of the lots to a developer?
Yeah,
and then
we could do part.
keeping a portion, sell individually.
So it was all, I was talking to Mike Campbell. He's representing a developer that is, all he told me is it's not the Lawlers. He didn't. he'd be anywhere
Very
close to
important
what
to
it
know.
It's,
was.
I'm assuming it's Jeremy Campbell.
I'm not sure.
Okay. He wouldn't share with you?
I didn't push him. He seemed like he wanted to keep it. And I said, well, if we get to the point where we're actually discussing it, I didn't know. I kind of like the idea.
Know who Jeremy Campbell is?
Yeah, it used to be Ricky Martin. Jeremy bought the
Okay.
company, and I think he's done some of the homes down near Mike Campbell's place. Okay.
Yeah, I liked the idea of doing partial because I thought it is nice for people to be able to buy the lot and build it to their own spec rather than have a builder do it. But at the same time, if that means we don't have to take on additional costs, then it's worth considering either way.
Eric, do you
Right.
have a recommendation? What is your thinking?
For what now?
I'm just wondering what your opinion is on, should we go with a contractor? Should we sell it? I'm just looking, you've been around a while, so share with me your thoughts. on the best way to
What I
proceed.
wanna do, Mayor sent me that text, and that's interesting. But what I wanna do is get something concrete in place, just like an offer of some sort,
Mhm.
with some subsistence behind it. Down payment, whatever's necessary to make sure that's for real. If not, and we don't follow through and do the infrastructure this year, we will lose another year out through there.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, people are interested in these lots.
Yeah.
People want to build houses in this little village. And it's good economic development, it brings money into the school, kids into the school, county. That's why the town should be involved in it. They liked it, and I think they would. They've been involved in other things we've done down. So it shouldn't all be on the village, but you got a budget for it, make it part of a project. But you won't have the money to do it.
So I say
So,
we
to
discuss
answer your
that at that
question,
budget.
I'll make sure that.
You did, thank you.
But I think
Find out
even,
more about this so-called hall.
Sure.
we could, if we did a combination, we could pre-sell lots as well.
Sure.
I mean, we could,
I'm with Eric, though. I don't want to kick it another year. This has
I don't
been
either.
sitting
No.
forever and I
yeah, for
want to get
20
moving on
20
it.
years.
Yes, and I'm done with, it needs to be on the tax rolls.
So if we pre-sell lots, that would give us the money for the,
For the laterals and the
Okay,
things that need to
yeah.
be done.
Right.
how many?
20.
One
20
total.
total.
I know there's 20 in total, but pre-sell lots isn't all of them.
We haven't discussed, that's what we need to
I think it'd be
discuss.
hard
Oh,
to
okay.
resell 20 that quickly, but
No, but if, let's say we split it between a
Yeah.
developer
Yep.
and individual lots.
I agree with Eric, though, that whatever, that it should be in writing. If there's an
Yeah.
offer and
Oh, no.
someone is
I-
interested, that we need something.
it's similar to
more
what I said
concrete.
about Dione and the dog park thing. I want to at least make sure if our position was, no, we want to sell it to individuals, I didn't want to make them jump through the process.
I understand. Okay.
You guys available Thursday afternoon? Weather's clear. Yeah. We got to get it done in 2 weeks. And I don't know what the weather's going to be in a week. But Lynn should be able to meet sometime later this week. So we can talk after, but, all right. Anything else for Eric before we poll for any other secret organizations I don't know about in the room? All right. Anybody else? Anybody on Zoom? Nobody from the chamber here. There. All right, move on to board reports and I'll start. Kathy, I'm meaning to message you. I put a Google Maps location on the dog park. Get like 100 some views a month on it. So if anybody goes there and wants to review the Google business location of the dog park, please do. It gets more visibility, but just add to the visitor centers, like things you guys are tracking. Did you guys want to talk about the Dione's request at all?
That's up to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
If it's something that,
Is it the dog park you're talking about? Yeah.
so we had a resident suggest that she would like to put a kiosk next to the dog park and basically lease land from the village for a auto doggy wash. You swipe your credit card and it gives you a hose and a thing. Before she does a formal proposal, I just wanted to make sure that that's something the board would entertain. A lot of communities do lease public land to businesses. There's obviously, you need things like a tear down provision and other stipulations, but I didn't want to go through and like put together a business plan if our answer was just, we don't want to do that. So we don't have to like actually vote on anything, but I kind of wanted guidance to tell her whether or not to put something more formal together.
I use the dog park a lot. I've talked to some of the friends that I hang out with there. And I'm concerned about the maintenance of the wash station.
Yeah.
And if somebody washed their dog and the dog had fleas or a contagious skin disease, how do we know about that? What's the maintenance of cleaning it afterwards? Like
So this wouldn't be, she wouldn't be putting it in for us to maintain. It would be her business that she.
Yeah, okay,
But we
okay.
have to stipulate what the rules.
Right. And I think it needs to be pretty staunch.
Sure.
It would be just as easy to put out a cement block with a drain over by the community gardens with a hose that, those of us our dogs get muddy in the dog run when it's wet, and we can just hose them off. We don't have to shampoo them. I mean, because
it's-
everybody shampoos their
Yeah,
dog.
I don't know that I think it's a super lucrative business idea because I don't know what the costs and the revenue would be.
Mhm, mhm.
But again, to my mind, I thought with the right rules in place, I'm fine with it.
Water there?
Yeah.
We do.
They ran
water.
water.
There is.
They did run
Yeah.
water. Okay.
They did
I-
run water. I mean, it's
It
been
wouldn't
a
be cheap
really
because you'd have
nice
to run
attempt
power,
for
you'd have to do a lot.
the dog park has been a really nice asset to the community. It's fenced in. They have put up some fun things for the dogs. Instead of putting up a dog wash station, it's benches would be nice and lights would be nice. And I know that's separate from what
Sure.
she is proposing.
Yeah, we absolutely plan to flesh it out more over time.
Yeah, I know, and I agree, but, I do have to compliment, I think it's Lynn, probably, the DPW, they plowed the dog park. They picked up the dog trash.
Which
Just
they
saying,
shouldn't
I said-
have to be doing.
Winters.
I know, but I feel like it's easier to see. It's on white snow. Like, how do you miss that?
What?
I feel bad that our DPW is cleaning up after other people's dogs.
They're not cleaning up it.
Oh, I misunderstood what
No,
you
you
said. Okay,
misunderstood
I
me.
did misunderstand you.
Yes.
Sorry. Okay, they're cleaning the
Dog-
waste receptacle. That's what you're
Yes.
telling me.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
I'm gonna
please.
be quiet.
No,
Okay.
we're not.
I
we're not-
misunderstood her.
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah, so anyway.
Last year, it wasn't plowed and we destroyed the gate and you had to climb over
Oh, sure.
a mountain to get there. So they've done a really nice job and I'm complimenting.
Yeah.
Lynn and his.
Yeah, I saw somebody posted some pictures of that. Looked nice.
Yeah, it looks nice. They
So-
do need to clean
Yeah,
up
that's the
the
answer now.
electrical.
Is it,
Yeah,
is
no.
this, I read her letter. Is this a franchise?
You can, well, the company that makes them sells them. Like
Okay.
they have like a marketing material that says, buy our doggy thingy and you can make extra. It's like a vending machines company.
Well,
They're
that's, I
gonna
couldn't
have-
figure out. Was it like she wants to set up a McDonald's?
No, it's unattended. So it's like an
Okay.
unattended dog walk.
Okay,
That
okay,
you can go and like put coins in to activate the soap machine and spray your dog down.
okay,
I don't know if.
Car
we'll
wash,
actually
but
do
for
it,
dogs.
Yeah,
okay.
it was Deone, Crane.
Ye-
was the email.
ye-
So,
yeah.
Oh, is that who
Yeah.
that was? Oh.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if she was like buying into a company.
No, I think it's like
Opening a
it's like
branch
the
or-
company that you buy the machine from.
Okay.
And then they
All
give you classes on how to
Okay,
get the business. going.
gotcha.
I'm interested in hearing more. I just
Yeah.
don't know.
I think
I'm not opposed to it. I just need more information.
Sounds good. Yeah, of course, that was the question. All right. For the security, Kelly and I just talked, if it's good with you guys, I'm gonna write up a sort of bid document for putting in the equipment we bought for access control to this building. Rather than do all the buildings together, I'd rather pilot it with one so that if the contractor doesn't do a good job or we have any problems, we can reevaluate before we start trying to deploy them all over. I don't know what it'll cost, but Lynn doesnn want to mess with the
Okay.
equipment.
This was the ARPA money.
So we already bought the equipment,
Okay.
but we need someone to do the install.
Yep.
You're gonna put something together for bid request,
Yeah,
right?
bid request. So like
Okay.
send to, I think NC Systems, whatever.
Yeah, we
Company
definitely
trying to do that.
need to do that, but I agree doing one building first, see how it goes.
And
And
it's
then
not
I would
binding
like
or
to
anything,
see it
so
at the visitor
I'll,
center and.
I'll type that up and hopefully by next meeting we have some
Okay.
bids.
Perfect.
We have in here the damage claim from Fort Pike. Basically, Lynn replaced a meter at Fort Pike. Their maintenance, or sorry, was it Jared or Lynn?
Jared.
Jared. Their maintenance supervisor attends these with them because they're in someone's apartment. 4 months later, there's water damage. Fort Pike is claiming that it's our fault, but they were there when it was installed and it was confirmed not leaking. They also have their water meters in their laundry room where they like stash all their brooms and stuff on top of the thing. So it's easy for it to get jostled. Lynn has been pretty quick to say when he thinks it's the village's fault when something happens and costs money, even when it's like his himself's fault. So I really trust his judgment when he says this is definitely not our fault. I looked it over as well. I told our insurance person the same thing. Fort Pike's insurance is talking to our insurance, so it'll be what it'll be. At this point, it's in the hands of the adjusters. But get you guys updated on that. In the Dank reports this month, there's like a bit of a delta from our usual. I think it's related to the leaks. We're producing more water. So that's hopefully all related and somewhat fixed, although there may still be one yet to surface. And then,
Can I go back?
yeah,
Have we made it, did you make a decision about the damage to the Fort Pike?
it's up to the insurance
We
adjuster.
sent it to the insurance.
We, if
because we're
it was
just
our,
shooting.
if we believed it was our fault, we would just proactively say,
Right.
and then we'd then call our insurance to see if we should just pay it or put in a claim.
Okay.
But our
Because we don't
DPW
think it's our fault.
not.
Their insurance is asked to talk to ours and they're gonna adjudicate it and tell
Okay,
us what.
because I don't think it's our fault.
Yeah, but it's not, I guess we're not the final word.
Right,
So,
gotcha.
Yeah, our insurance may just decide to pay for some of it to not have a longer fight. I don't know.
Okay, thank you.
And then the last thing is the phishing attempt that we got from the planning board application. Or was it ZBA? Did Jim not send it to you? Someone spoofed his email? Okay. The Herringers got an email from Sackett's Harbor-New York.govs at some fake, like claim.com. So if you look carefully, it's not us, but it looks decent. And it had pulled all the public data that we have to publish and put it in an email saying your stuff's approved, signed Jim Corbin, click here to send us wire to get wire instructions and you owe us $3,000. Now, if they had said, click here to pay with a credit card and made it 100, I think they might have gotten the $100. But they said they made it too high. And then they also were like, email us if you want wire instructions. I reported that to the bank. I asked Annie to say, yes, we'll take the wire instructions. So now we have a US bank that's owned by someone we can report. I should have mentioned before Gleason left, but the bank's fraud department is supposed to be handling it, but I just wanted I was going to post something too, but I've been trying to figure out how to phrase this and not freak everyone out. But,
Right.
just be on the lookout because if someone's asking for your money, you probably want to call the village office and make sure it's legit. Especially where we're now sending water bills out and things like that. I don't want, this could happen for every planning board thing going forward. If someone's scraping the sites and automatically sending these emails, there's no telling if they get better at it, they might be having a more convincing payment link in the future. So just.
I think I read something about that before Christmas. So it began like in Ontario, or one of the first in the state was Ontario County. And
Yeah.
Wayne County.
Once one person does it and pays, they're gonna start
Maybe even
trying.
Jefferson County Planning sent out an email, or New York Planning Federation. Kind of community where.
Maybe we should find that and see if we can post it out or send it in the newsletter or in the weekly email just to put people
Somebody
on.
else's notice, yeah.
I've seen other, like the IRS will never, because that's, they'll say.
Yes.
So maybe just say the village will never contact you in this.
For
way.
routing numbers or whatever.
Right, I mean,
Okay.
for rounding numbers is, fortunately, like all the banks know to you can't send a wire without explaining where you got the info. Because they know people are trying to do this, but it's just tricky because if we are sending bills out digitally, then it's gonna get confusing, so.
But I think he's right, though. We could put out a PSA saying that the village would never ask you
To wire.
to
For-
wire
for-
us
that's for
money,
sure.
because
Yeah,
that
that's-
was,
we won't.
Or any link to our permitting. I mean, that.
right, would ask you to wire us money.
Also say that all of the emails would come from, at
Right.
secretary.gov or.
All official correspondence would come.
Like that.
Yeah.
They
so it
do,
just-
but if they're-
say at, it can be, yeah.
Yeah, they change one tiny little thing. It's so scary. And I feel bad because
Yeah,
my mother would totally get caught. I know.
no, so if we,
Even take credit cards.
Yeah.
I was just gonna ask, I'm pretty sure we don't even take credit cards right now.
which I'm trying to fix, but Anyway, okay. Yeah, and, you know, if people are ever unsure, just call, call the office or text somebody that you know their number. Because verify it easier.
On the water sewer funding side, you can score more points for cybersecurity if the building town had cybersecurity set up as far as training or anything else.
Yeah.
You get additional points.
Good to know.
So,
I think I'm done. Yeah, that's all from you guys. Any questions for me? All right. Kelly?
I just have a couple of things. I want to give end of year data from the fire department because we didn't meet in January. So I just want to give 2025 run calls and all of that for 2025. Fire, they had 92 fire calls for the year, 285 EMS calls, 35 MVA, 8 boat calls, 24 other. They had a total of 430 calls for the year of 2025. That is 2 short from their all-time high that included COVID. So last year they had the most calls that they've ever had since COVID by 2. So there's just a reminder to tell people that they're volunteers and that they are doing good work for all of us. Just to back up, because I know we've had some people asking about the ambulance not being here and switching over to EMS. I just need to put some data out there. 96% of those 285 EMS calls, they had people show up for those calls. As compared to 2024, where they only responded to 4% of those calls. So making a change from an ambulance to an EMS is getting people to the door 96% of the time. So it was in fact exactly what we thought it was going to be. So all of the people that are still concerned, they're making 96% of those calls, where the year before they only made 4%. So people are at the door, they're there faster, they're giving aid to people that need it. The only thing that we're not doing is transporting, and it's just making everyone safer. They're getting someone there faster. People that weren't going on calls are responding now. So
You want to send me something and I'll send it out.
Yeah.
okay, I'm going to type something up and I'm going to put it in the newsletter because I do feel like we need to circle back about the ambulance. There were some people that were upset. We had a community member that approached a teenager at the high school who was a member of the EMS crew and was yelling at her in school still over the fact that we don't have an ambulance, which is completely unnecessary and inappropriate. And I'm hoping her parent took care of that with the school board. But I just need to keep putting the positive out that the change was a good change and it did what we wanted it to do.
It was a time frame.
The driving factor is that if you were volunteering previously and you were in the ambulance, you could have to stay with that patient through a drive to Samaritan and then a redirection to Carthage and then a redirection to St. Joe's and then 3 hours of paperwork. And now they just are responding, providing care until another ambulance arrives and then
they transport and they take the rest of it.
And
So
so-
the onus is off our they're still going to 285 calls.
Okay.
They're at the door, they're doing CPR, they're doing what they need to do. They're just not transporting. Where before, because of the requirement of training, they had to do so many training hours. It was that coupled with one ambulance call could be 4 to 6 to 8 hours. That's a huge commitment when you're a volunteer. So the department made the decision to switch from an ambulatory ambulance to an EMS first responder. And the community, obviously, doing something that they're not sure about. I understand why they were anxious about it, but I feel like this data backs up the fact that it was a good decision. So I just feel it's very important to put that out there.
Cheaper.
It is.
It is more attractive to volunteers. And that means that we are going to have someone on site faster, more often. Because when that one ambulance is gone, the rest of the night, if there's another call, now we don't have anybody going.
Well, and we're pulling from other communities and other communities don't have ambulances either. And because they don't have an ambulance, our ambulance was getting sent to Carthage. Our ambulance was getting sent to Watertown to back up for Guilfoyle. Now we don't have to do that because we don't have an ambulance. So volunteers are more willing to go on calls. And so I just think it's important to put that out there. That there has not been one situation where we have lost a community member because we had a first responder instead of an ambulance. They've had care when they needed to, and I just need to keep putting that out there to reassure people that it was the best decision. It's still, in my view, still the best decision. And I think we owe the department to at least acknowledge that publicly, that they made the right decision. So that's what I have with that, but I will send you got the data, right? You want me, I'll send it to you.
Yes.
Okay, I will do that. I'm gonna put a blurb out in the trustee newsletter though, and I am gonna reiterate that and put that out there. That's all I have for them. I have been working and meeting with the rec committee. I drafted a mission statement for the recreation committee. Alex and Beth are gonna sign that. They both looked at it and we've worked out some language just to give direction to the rec committee so that they understand what their mission is and what's the purpose of that committee. I feel like there's a lot of, I just think they weren't sure how the committee works, how the money works, and all of those things, and really what their job is. So I was trying to clarify that.
Yeah, I was talking to Peggy that when the committee was formed, there was a binder that was put together.
Okay.
I have a copy at home. There probably was once a copy in the office.
Okay.
There was a lot of.
Ooh, I'd be curious to see
Yeah, and I
some of
think
that.
over the course of changes in the committee,
Yep.
that just got forgotten.
Okay.
So-
Well, we've drafted up a mission statement
that's
to
what
at
I'm
least give
saying.
them some direct purpose as to what they're, just some kind reminders.
Yeah, but a lot of that information.
Within that?
I'll drop a copy off.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Thank you. But otherwise, we've had a couple of snafus with some financial stuff. I think that's like their most questions is, I think a lot of the people that are part of that committee are also part of the school booster club, and our account doesn't work the same way. And there's a little confusion of, I need this money transferred here, and that's not how we do things. We're a village. So just kind of clarifying with them the right way to ask for money and that kind of stuff. So I've been working with them on that. But that's all I have.
Great. Yeah, thanks for doing that.
Mhm.
Any other questions for Kelly, guys? Greg?
Nothing for me tonight.
And Sarah's not here. Nope.
I have two things that I wanted to bring up. The first one is about the agenda for each of our board meetings. I would like that the board committees, all the various board committees submit their reports earlier than the day of the report, because there's a lot of information. It's just be helpful to review it.
They're in the Dropbox.
Are they in the, I mean,
They're supposed to be in the Dropbox.
They are in there when we get them. But
right, I called Peggy yesterday and said, can I come and get the file so I can look it over? And she said, they're not in yet.
When I first joined this board, I felt the exact same way, and I wanted them at least a week ahead of time, and then I lost that battle and I gave up. So I'm just gonna say,
Well, I wouldn't say a week ahead of time.
I wanted them ahead of time because I work and I'm busy and I
Right.
didn't have time to
Right.
look at it. So I completely understand where you're coming from.
Right.
It's harder to review them new too.
It
Once
is,
you know-
which is why when I was in her seat, I was asking the same exact request.
Right.
So I totally understand.
I think there needs to be more transparency. I think that I don't know that the village residents need to see all these reports, but I would like to see the agenda more defined, like this agenda could be Xeroxed. It's the same every single time. The community, the residents don't know what is being reported on, and if there could be just a simple bullet point of, we're going to talk about the 1812 subdivision or the water, or, like that you reported on, or that Janet reports on, any, just a real simple thing, so that if a member of the community goes, well, I care about that, they would know to come to the meeting. I just think that I would like to see more participation from the community. I want them to come to the board meetings. And I don't know how to get them to come except to let them know what's being discussed.
Agendas are typically just a list of, you know, who's going to talk. I mean, an agenda doing what you're asking would be more of like board minutes. It would be longer. And I don't think that's what the intent of an agenda is. When I do agendas at school, they look just like this. And then when you go to the meeting, that's where you fill in the blanks. I don't know.
I mean, there's definitely some things that are, you know, that we have our notices published, it's in the email, but we're here every week or every month. And I think people say they want to know more, but then they don't want to digest the information that we send out. I'm never against trying to different ways, but and really these packets, we can publish the entire, there's none of this isn't public.
It's,
But it's tricky. We talked about this with the Harbor Haven residents. It's like, if you only care about like a planning board notice that's 2 houses down from you, but you don't want to read the planning board notices every month to see if that's happening. There's no way for us to know which people we should tell about which projects. And when we do kind of fire hose information at people, they ask us not to. Like the text messages, the more we send, people unsubscribe. It's very difficult for us to give people information that they say that they wish they had if they don't act in the way that, like, ahead of time. You know, it's tricky, and I'm always open to ideas. That's why I think Kelly was in the middle of a big pilot, really. It's 3 years, so I guess it's not a pilot anymore, but of our new text message system. And it's very useful for things like the water main outage. But there's a little bit of a catch-22. It's like the more things we use it for, the more people go, I'll just unsubscribe. I don't want a text every week about, you know, Hamilton Street's closed for 30 minutes and I never drive there. I don't care. And that's the response we get from people, is that they don't.
That wasn't the intent of that.
Oh, I know, I get it, but it's an open question of the more detailed you put your info, then it's too much to read and people don't find the detail. And if you simplify it, then the detail's not there.
I think I hear what you're saying though about letting the community know what's going on. And I think I've tried to attempt to be more open and transparent since I've been on the board, and I've tried many things. Hasn't worked. I've put a lot of time and effort into newsletters and adding to the weekly email. And we still don't get people here. We've been told by NICOM not to use social media. It opens us up for liability. So
Right.
I'm not willing to add that, short of we have a meeting or something quick. But we shouldn't be discussing policy. It just opens us up to so many issues. If you have another idea besides the newsletter, besides the weekly email, I am all ears, because I certainly want to do that. I want more people here too. But I feel like I've been batting my head against the wall for 4 years and I can't think of another way to do it.
So with that in mind, there is an effort within the community going on right now. It's called the Community Conversation, and there is a survey that's going to be sent out to all the residents in Sackett's Harbor, taxpayers, and interested parties. It's the opportunity. What it came from was the 2003 vision study that was done. So it's been 22 years. It's time to look at what our community has. There's a lot of new residents, such as myself, and I know of 4 or 5 other families that have moved into the area, and they don't know how Sackett's Harbor has initiated some really great programs, and where it all came from. I've talked to a lot of people having come into this position, and there's a lot of discrepancy about what has happened, what needs to happen, and where we're going. So with that in mind, there is this community conversation that's going on. It's already been started. It's in order for the residents to discuss and bring forward their interests and their concerns about the community. There is going to be a survey that's sent out to all residents. And then on February 25th at the ballroom, there is going to be a meeting of anybody that's interested to come to the ballroom and you know, have a time to voice their concerns. And I think we're gonna have it's not gonna be the 2-year project that the one in 2003 was. It's gonna be more like maybe 5 or 6 months. I think we're gonna try to get a facilitator to organize the tally marks of interest. I'm not saying that these requests are gonna come anywhere. It's just awareness and openness discussion in order probably, hopefully, to get people to come to the board meetings, to get aware of what's going on and be interested in helping govern our village.
Hope at the very least, do you think it would make sense to have a representative from that group?
She's already on it.
I'm on it.
Okay. Come to these
Would you-
meetings with, you know, whatever is discussed during those conversations, I guess is what you're calling the community conversations,
What are you asking?
is that the items that are discussed in those meetings be brought to us, so we
Sure.
know what.
If
what-
you're a resident of Sacatar.
We can't have more than 2 of us in the same room, or then it's a board 2 or.
Well, I mean, if we're just, I mean, we can sit in. and
We have to be very careful
Yeah.
because we are a board, and if we're in the same room, then it's a village board meeting. So we can't have all of us in the room at the same
You
time.
can't come as a resident?
No, because we're village
If we're
board
discussing
members.
policy, it gets
Yeah, we
kind of
can't.
weird.
I don't think we're gonna be discussing policy. I think we're gonna be discussing,
I would generally like,
We're not supposed to be in the room.
yeah.
But it would be nice to get that information. I mean, it's kind of a two-way street you know,
I think
we've been trying to come up with a way to get our information out, but, you know, we don't get a lot of the information that's
Correct.
discussed on the street either.
Right,
And
we also need,
I agree, I understand.
This might be a way to get that.
Yeah, I think we can have a summative or
it sounds like if you're on the committee, as part of your report, you could just report to the board.
Yeah. Okay,
Action items or requests or whatever that happens to be.
okay.
I do know that the rec committee is looking for people to join that committee that can, so if there's things regarding recreation for, like, they have a lot of things for youth programs, but not for older not children people. They're looking for people to join that can offer insight as to things that group might be able to help with. We historically don't get people to volunteer for those
Yeah,
committees. That we are looking for people, and I think they have always looked for people, and we can't get anybody to join that. So perhaps that's something you could throw out there to ask people. Yeah,
the recreation committee.
yeah, they're looking for,
Okay.
that's where the gardening, what's that called?
Gardening club?
The gardening club came from, or the plots that are back there, that came from that.
We've kind of like.
The bocce program,
okay.
that came
And
from
so-
that.
Pickleball.
We're working on pickleball, but yeah, those items came from residents that asked for those. So to be part of that recreation committee would be
Okay.
beneficial or helpful to add insight.
It's a work in progress.
Who did the original you said 2003? Who did that? Was that a village run?
Well, it was joint town and village, but it was done by actually the organization, the Heritage Area Committee, that in the form of the organization that owns the Stone Hospital.
Okay.
And it was done over a couple years. It was very well attended. And there was a series of meetings over a couple years. And there was a report that was given out that if anyone wants to see it, that there used to be a vision statement up here, added to it. That
Oh, I remember seeing that.
The town still has theirs up. Came up with a vision statement, and so that was a joint town village effort.
Okay.
This one just.
But this is just the village, right?
Well, it is an actual village. It sounds like residents are doing it. So that's where we need to be careful saying it's a village item.
In the sense of the government. I mean,
You mean village
it's all the
residents?
village. The
Okay.
community is just the
Gotcha.
village,
The
not the
community.
village and town.
Okay.
Right, right.
I was just clarifying.
Any other questions? Any questions here? Any statements?
Are we on the public comments?
No,
Oh, then I'll wait.
All right, thanks. So I don't think there's much left before. I already talked about the jank reports. So, we have no old business. We have two new things. One is the fireworks law. I emailed you guys a couple suggested changes. Since I don't think we have any fireworks happening between now and March, and Sarah is not here and she was involved in this. Kelly has suggested that we punt this as well. If you want to chat about it now, we can. My concern was mainly changing the wording to make it so that it was not a distance from a roadway, it was a distance from an open roadway. So if we close a road for the purpose of an event, then we can have the fireworks. And again, these all still go through the fire marshal's approval. The firework contractor needs to certify it as safe. And then I also thought there was a couple numbers that might change, but we can talk about that later. If it,
And there was a notification requirement, right? That
yes,
we never had.
yes. And that was the main request
Yeah.
was
Right.
when you do the state application that you have to do legally anyway, please give us 30 days notice and give that to the fire marshal. And that was what drove this change,
it
this
is.
law. in the first
They have
place.
in there though that they're notifying the zoning enforcement officer.
I think the idea is.
I
we
just don't want
need-
Jim to be like, oh, I have another thing added to
Yeah.
my.
So
Long
the,
list of things
the
to do.
requirement involves like the site being a distance from property lines. And I think that might be why, it's like he's the one to check that.
But I
But
don't,
we could just say you have to provide a plot map with the circle or whatever, but.
it does say may upon reasonable notice to the property owner inspect the site.
So we can modify this as you like.
I would almost
Set
just
the
take the
treatment.
zoning enforcement officer off and put fire chief and or person appointed by the village, that if the fire chief looks at it and he's like, oh, we should probably send somebody,
Yeah,
then it could be anybody, which could then be Jim if we needed
Sure.
it to be.
I think that's fine. I mean, we can. Kind of red line the doc.
Okay.
Before next meeting and
Okay.
make sure that everyone's got their chance to put their comments on it.
Okay.
And then I forget who, was it you, Kelly, who brought up the 250th? Somebody said.
Someone, I got a phone call
Yeah.
and it's probably the same person that talked to you in the office.
Um,
It was the day of the senior citizen lunch, so I'm guessing it was the same group that called me. Is that right?
Don't know.
Well, the same day that you sent the email was the same day I got a phone call from a resident asking me about it. And I was like, well, we just had someone say something, so we're gonna add it to the. I had someone approach me and I know someone stopped into the office that this 4th of July is the 250th anniversary of 4th of July or
this whole thing.
this whole thing, right?
America.
And so they were asking if we were doing something in celebration of that. And I said, I don't know. It's not too far off. And if we are going to do something, we need to get on it. I do have I did talk to Brenda Derwin. She is not interested in taking this on. She's got Can-Am and cannot handle.
Parades are tough to organize and.
I don't think a parade is gonna work. The Christmas parade was abysmal at best.
Yeah.
No one came. We didn't even have our residents come out and see it.
There.
I mean, there was maybe 10 people there. It was freezing.
cold.
It was, I get it.
Oh.
But we always do fireworks.
Yep.
I don't know if we roll that 250th anniversary into Can-Am somehow
So.
and make it all
The 4th
one.
is on a Saturday this year.
Okay.
Typically, we get really good turnout, partly because we go on the 4th no matter what.
Yes.
And so a lot of other communities don't. And if the 4th is on a Thursday or a Wednesday, everybody comes here.
Yeah.
That said, on Saturdays, more people are off work. So I don't honestly know if we have good data, and I have to ask Connie, maybe they do, as to whether Saturdays or weekdays, we get more turnout.
Yeah.
And
I
I'd be
just
fine
wanted
with
to pose the
allocating some
question, do we
funds, but-
want to do
it's
something?
difficult to have someone to organize, like any sort of additional you know,
They wanted some sort of celebration and that would take a lot of planning. It would take some more money.
250 days of fireworks.
I mean, and so it was a question to the board. How do we want to move forward? Do we want to do something? And if so, we need
I mean,
to
I honestly
make
think
some money for it that wasn't already in the budget.
I'd be happy to allocate a little, like, you know,
Just do a
make
bigger
a bigger
4th of
fireworks
July.
show.
I'm,
And
inclined.
open the floor to if somebody wants to, has an idea for what to do and wants to spearhead it, great.
I do know that the senior citizen group wanted to, if we were gonna do something special or different, they were asking how they could help support it. I didn't have an answer for them because I didn't know what it was that we were gonna eventually roll out. If we're just gonna do more fireworks, which I think is a decent idea.
Can we get a band up to play on?
That requires someone to take that on,
Right,
so.
and food trucks, a couple of food
They
trucks.
already have them at the state park allows food trucks for the 4th of July. There's usually 5,000 people there. It's packed.
Right.
You know, a band would be interesting, but again, it's someone that's like. So, I don't know if Kelly, you remember this, the first year we were on the board, we had a local teacher come and say, oh, you know, where I used to live, they did for spring break or winter break. I forget which one, I guess the February break. The whole town does teacher discounts. Everybody gets and I was like, you know, that'd be great. I'd be happy to help. Do you want to organize? Oh, I couldn't possibly because I teach in Carthage and my Carthage people would be mad if I organized it here. And I'm like, okay. If somebody is calling us to ask us to do this, I'm happy to provide support, but I do think
It requires
it's
someone
gonna,
taking it.
yeah, somebody's gonna have to take the helm and I don't know that a lot of us have the bandwidth to do more than support it. So I think for now. I'm
Yeah,
happy
the
to-
people that were asking me were not asking me to like go, yeah, I will be in charge of it. They were like, what are you already doing and how can I help you? And I was like, we're not doing anything.
Money in the budget, there has been for a couple of years for like event grants.
Mhm.
So you could, if an organization wanted to do something.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They could potentially tap into that money.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, if the Historical Society wanted to do something and do a concert in the battlefield, I think that would be fine. And yes, we could throw some extra. I do think perhaps adding a little bit more to the budget for the 4th of July. You know, I'm open to it. I just don't know. I mean, these people were not saying, I would like to do this and can I take it on? Because I would have said, here you go. Absolutely. But I can't. There's no way I can do it. So unless someone's volunteering to do it, that is
In
right.
the summer.
Correct. Yeah.
In the summer. So-
Yeah. So it sounds like we're not doing anything special unless someone, from what I'm hearing, is that the board is willing to do a little add to the.
Yeah, I think like I'd be, if, you know, Lynn wants to talk through like a little extra decorating on the street for, you know, we have funds to do. We don't have to just be for fireworks, right? The flower, we could do maybe red, white and blue flowers instead of just standard flowers. We can do, there's other things we can do, but I don't think we're gonna have like a festival.
Yeah,
in
I don't
addition
foresee
to-
that happening. Can-Am is 2.5
days,
weeks,
yeah.
it's 10 days later. I don't think we have bandwidth to do something big that close together with the same pool of volunteers.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily the money, it's just, I just don't think we have enough people that are willing to help out. But I like the idea of the red, white and blue flowers.
Yeah, and
They might be.
Yeah, I know
We're
that,
checking.
yeah, the Battlefield Alliance, and the Historical Society, nothing, not like a festival type thing, but there's been some ideas kicked around. For example, selling flags and bunting as a fun, you know, that sort of
I
thing.
think that would be great.
You know, so, and I think we'll know probably within the next few weeks.
Okay.
And, but it's just been really big, because the question is,
Who's doing
who's
it?
gonna do it?
Exactly.
And
That's the question we
do
ask
it,
every
even
time.
with a
Who's gonna do
simple
it?
idea, who's gonna carry it out?
Yeah. And my thing is, I don't like it when we start out strong and then it looks horrible. It's embarrassing to me when we're better off not doing it. So I kind of feel like that's where we're at with the Christmas parade. I hate to be a Debbie Downer, but it's getting a little embarrassing that, you know, I don't know. And it's not for a lack of trying. That's not it at all. It's just, we're not
Yeah,
hitting the
so
mark with it,
the weather,
so.
right? Like if the weather's terrible and then it's
Yeah.
hard to get momentum, like I was very happy with Oktoberfest because the weather cooperated. And if we get 3 years in a row where that happens, then
It
it'll
might.
build a reputation.
Correct.
It's a gamble every year.
It is,
And winter's a
Yeah.
tough time. So.
yeah,
But summer's the same way. In the thick of summer, everyone's got stuff going on. They're traveling. They want to be at the picnic. They don't want to host the picnic. You know?
right.
So. All right.
Following, okay, 4th of July is on a Saturday,
Yes.
Mhm.
and we always have the bands on Sunday. Possible to ask them to come on Saturday instead of Sunday. Who's that?
Davis.
No?
It's not
gonna
happening. Mm-mm.
Well, and I'm talking way out of line here, but that's right. Maybe the historical society could get a band.
In
have an
addition
additional
to,
one.
in addition
I would
to,
hate to kind of mess with the concerts because they've
Okay.
been so,
It's all set.
Yeah, they're
maybe an additional one, especially if we get some funding
Mhm.
for the village,
Mhm.
from the village,
Mhm.
just have a band. Just
throwing out ideas.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's a little, yeah.
Don't
that's-
write it in the minutes. We're just talking out loud. I hear you. Yeah. Okay.
Thanks, Dave.
Great. Well, we'll do one last round of public comment before we head out of here. Yes, ma'am. You're up first.
You better tell her she got 3 minutes, because
3 minutes.
we might take it.
You're on a timer, 3 minutes, and we need your name.
Right, I just found it interesting. I got my sheet. I've written front, back, underneath everything else because all the information was when I got here, you know, so you're all bringing everything up. I agree. This agenda that comes out has absolutely nothing on it, so you don't know. We're talking about getting people here. If they heard some of this stuff, if they were sitting here, they'd be interested in coming to see what else is going on. I spent Sunday afternoon after I got home from church, going through all the minutes of every committee in this village, even the back ones, just to find out what's been going on, because I haven't been out and about as much. So I just think that, like, when you started, Alex, you know, underneath the board reports, you checked off some items that you had ready. All of you did. So that would be good just to put there. But just a line, you know, not a whole thing, just the subject that you're going to discuss, that you started with the dog park, you know, just put the item. At least that'll draw people to see there's something they might see there would draw their attention. From the dog park and then security and then they know that things are going on. Most people, they don't come, they think nothing's going on, but that's not you guys' fault. Now, is the one other thing that when you were talking about the real estate, new people coming in. And that welcome packet is great. Anything you could put to people that come in, you know they're gonna be paying taxes and everything, give them that with the information. Because I don't know what's historical and what isn't historical, you know? But any real estate person that does business in this village, they should be asking, they should know what's historical and what's okay. And they should be telling the people that they're showing properties to. They should also be responsible for letting them know.
Is it possible for the house to be listed as in the listing that it is in the historic?
They can do it. A
They
listing
can
agent
list
can
it
do
any
whatever
way they want, yeah.
It's not, we have no,
A lot of the real estate people, I mean, my daughter's in real estate and she finds out everything she can. She tells any prospective buyer. So you don't come up against any of these problems. I mean, it was just interesting. I would like to have been able to see when the board reported just some of those items. At least it'll draw them in. People will look at it and they might see, but you didn't have anything to say.
Oh, I made it easy. Cause I don't like to let Alex know ahead of time what I'm gonna talk about. But no,
the reason these bullets are written is because I wrote them at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, well,
So, and I will say, I hear you, and we've done that.
you want.
We have,
We've tried everything.
Chris, one of the,
no difference.
not one of the problem is, we could make this 10 pages long. I don't disagree with anything you're saying, but the problem is getting people to read it. Because if they don't read it, they're not gonna know what.
Well, first of all, as far as reading this, they'll look, if they see something different, if they see that Alex is going to say something, that might catch their
Right.
eye.
But they've got to go on the village website and look for this.
That's
That's
okay, but that's what we have, you have to educate these.
right. But a lot of people don't.
Well, you
do
know,
that.
you can all sit here and continue like this, but I think it's a lot of hard work that you all do.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. I'm just saying, the problem has been getting people to read the agenda ahead of time.
We can't get them to fill
Almost
out
every month
surveys.
we
We
talk
tried
about-
surveys and no one replies to them. So we've wasted a lot of money sending out and trying to get info, like, we've tried it all. And it's that constant battle of getting people.
One thing I cannot get on what's that comes up about either texting this or,
The app,
yeah.
give me your info and I'll add you to it.
In the office.
Yeah, Caroline.
Oh, the alerts.
Yes. If you want to give me your information before you leave, I'll get you on there. I could do it right here.
Because I get everything you have. And I'm always telling people when they move in, especially I'll get the military people and everything, to do Sackett's Living, to go into town hall. I'm always leading them to where they can get information about Sackett's, about living here. And I have a guy right now, a young guy, he does enactments and he mentioned, here with all the historical stuff, he's going crazy, he's driving me crazy. He wants to know, who do I talk to? Who do I talk to? And I don't have.
Clay Nance. Clay Nance. I'm gonna give you that name. Just tell him to get a hold of Clay. He'll hook him right up.
But I have to get.
He's at Goodfellows every night at 4:00. You know right where to find him. He's at the end of the bar. Can't miss him. Yes, can't miss him. You can hear him a mile away. Yeah.
Anyway, you don't wanna all listen to this, but I really feel that you all do there's a lot going on in this town that these people should pay attention. The other thing was, this was so good about the fire and the
ambulance.
ambulance. You see, that could have been right where your name is.
But that's a paragraph and I need
You
to.
don't have to do a whole paragraph.
No, but if I put ambulance on there, they're like, oh, are we getting a new one? No, we're not.
You're better off at just, what you could put
Yeah.
there in just a couple of words. But you've got to do something instead of this thing coming out, because no.
Do you read honestly, the agenda is just to tell people who's gonna talk and what, like the new items, new business and old business. I feel like where they're gonna get the meat of what occurs in a meeting is reading the meeting minutes.
Yeah, do you think that the people are gonna go in?
Well, if they're not gonna read a meeting minutes, who's to say they're gonna read a longer agenda? It's the same thing.
But the point is, at least they get here.
I don't know if that'll get them.
Reading the minutes is after the fact.
Yeah, I would say almost every month we talk about the same things.
This is a conversation we have every time we come
So
here.
if you read the minutes from today,
Well,
you will know that next month we're finishing the fireworks, all the stuff we talked about.
Flag policy, the
Explicitly
250,
separated.
anything that's in new business now becomes old
If
business.
someone wants to know, they can see it. It's the brutal reality is people do not want to bother.
What's the?
I don't think I've
what's-
ever
what's the-
seen an
what's the
agenda that's
cost? What's the
longer.
cost to mail?
We talk about
I know.
It's thousands of dollars.
Okay.
We've talked about doing that.
So that
We've
would
talked
be-
about mailing the newsletter out.
Okay, so if we
We're talking
did a
thousands
mailer every month, that would be $1,000 a month.
I know, and I need to get back on that. I'm overdue. So yes, and I put that out on the newsletter or the weekly email. I try to get it. It'll be out by the end of this
very
month.
informative
Yes, I try.
place for
Newsletter?
information.
Yes, and I haven't done one in a while.
It's a pain.
It is a pain, but I will do it if that's what people want.
Well,
It's just a lot of work.
Question is actually, that's why, I did a few and.
I know, it's a lot of work.
It's a
It
lot of
gets
work
hard.
for that.
It is.
So-
It's a lot
You
of
know,
work.
what-
When I go into the bank and there's still a pile of them.
would you guys be willing to mail agendas for 6 months, see if the attendance improves?
It's $6,000 to do that.
I know,
People
I know.
Use their email.
I know. but
Yeah.
a lot of people aren't electronically savvy.
I mean, we've talked about, I could put it on.
There's nothing else we could do. There's really nothing else we could do.
Agenda's pretty.
I don't think it's a good, a cost effective thing to spend $6,000 mailing.
Not when we're trying to send a survey out and we keep saying no to the survey, but we're gonna send an agenda out. Yes, ma'am.
What I'm hearing is, sort of a request for like little bullet points, like I didn't know what the engineer was talking about with sewer 1812, and I was thinking, 1812, is he talking about Lawler's subdivision? Then it was later I learned, so I think like he had infrastructure for LDC, possible historic district realignment discussion, security system installation for the village building. Those are things that people can relate to that are specific, that, you know, which is not a paragraph, which is not.
Just something.
Yeah.
Where
I do an EMS update every month. That is my job. Every month I'm giving a fire and an EMS report. That's who I represent when I am, yes, every month I do.
But I don't think any of us are disagreeing with any.
No, we
anything
are.
any
We're
of you
just
are
at a
saying.
loss
We're
for
just-
what's the best way to do it.
We're saying, how do we get that additional information? How do we get people to look at
I
it?
guess, I don't
I don't
know.
want you.
Well, it just seems like on the agenda, if you had listed just LDC, possible
Right.
lot sales, infrastructure, that gets people's attention. I'm sitting here, number meeting, I didn't know that's what Board was talking about that. I didn't know. Right. Then I finally figured it out 2 conversations
Yeah.
later. And I think people would be.
But you're a regular attendee,
And I think.
kind of, sort of, but how do you get the other people that,
Well,
I think if there was a couple of times that there was a transparent agenda, people would go, they could add the information into their head to come to the next meeting about that. You
Right.
have to
So I
build
will commit to
knowledge.
doing it for the next 3 months, and I guarantee you that we're not gonna get
Do
more
what?
people in this, to a more, I mean, you're asking more of our staff. We're asking more of them to add. She doesn't know what we're gonna talk about. So what does that mean? That means we need to tell her what's going on the agenda
If-
ahead of time.
If
Board
each,
members and department heads, send Peggy, here's the
bullet,
3 things I'm gonna
right,
talk about.
exactly, that's all it needs.
I've tried that. It doesn't work. We
Well,
miss
wait,
the deadline every
it's not
month.
You having to do it, it's the board, it's it's Janet and Lynn sending in the bullet points along with their report.
Yeah.
You don't have to do anything, Kelly,
I'm just saying this has been tried before. I've asked for a deadline and said, I need to look at it a week ahead of time. I am busy. And it just has not happened.
Well, if
I like the intent. Trust me, I like the intent. I would much rather look at it a week before than come here at 5:30 and try to read through everything before the meeting. I totally understand. I get it.
All I wanted was just like a couple bullet points of what we're gonna talk about a week in advance. That's fine. It is hard to do, like I will say, because I write a long report, it's hard to get that done.
Yes.
Because
And how do you pick one thing out of that to put in your bullet?
Well, because I usually do figure out, like, okay, like I try to tell you guys like 2 or 3 things and then the rest hopefully you read. So,
Right.
I mean, I could do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I usually do know in advance. I might.
Yeah, and Kelly, and I think we're on the same page where we've done things like this and not seen any change in engagement. And people come to the meeting and they learn stuff here. They come with an idea they heard about something that's a rumor, and then we
So
talk about it.
maybe with this community conversation gonna happen, I think the residents in Satin Harbor might get invested in their community and educated about the importance of coming to the board meeting. Okay?
I wish you all the best luck in accomplishing that, because we've been.
That meeting, and I'll stand up and I'll tell them that I came, and the discussion is that nobody comes to the meetings.
Everybody knows that nobody comes to the
I
meeting.
don't care, I'm gonna tell them.
I hope you have better luck than we do.
Either of you guys want to chime in? Hey, Chris, we got one more here.
Go ahead.
That was a long 3 minutes, I gotta say.
He did not cut you off.
Nobody ever comes.
This is our first meeting, I appreciate it. Tim Towner and my wife Brenda, we live down in Ambrose. So we're full time here as of 2 years ago, or year and a half ago, July. So I don't know if this is the right venue, so I just need some direction. So one of our neighbors talked to Lynn last summer about relocating the stops, the street pole with the stop sign on it at Ambrose and Brown Shores closer to the corner of Ambrose because it's about 20 feet back. And what's happening is we have cars that fly down Ambrose to go to Brown Shores and they go right past it because obviously they don't see, what they see is the private road, Brown Shores West sign, which is right on the edge.
Mhm.
And then, or they, then they come back and fly. I don't know, and Lynn said, yeah, I'll take care of it. So I don't, is that the right?
It is the right, but we had a loss of one of our DPW
Right.
members, so they got overwhelmed this summer, and I'm sure it just fell off his
But I
radar.
didn't know if
But
we
I,
had to like
Nope.
officially turn it in
No.
somewhere or just
Nope.
tell him.
I can just ask him, so you want that moved forward closer
Closer
to,
to Ambrose so they can see it's, there's a street there.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I do too.
Oh, that hedge is very, yep, yep.
Whatever they are. I mean, it's
And you
Yeah.
can see the Brown Shores West, there's nothing there and it's closer to the street, but the one that's on Brown Shores for
the west. Oh, yeah.
Brown Shores, when you're coming down Ambrose, you really can't see it.
Yes,
So
okay.
It would really be great, because you can kind of see, we sit there.
But you just watch them. Yep, now it's gonna turn back.
They put a
And they're looking
sign
at their GPS.
across the street
Right.
saying, with an arrow.
Yeah.
Well, the
but
other
is
thing
it then
we asked
coming
about
from
is-
Brown Shores, or is it they're missing the turn? They're missing it altogether. Okay,
The other thing we had asked was to have a dead end sign
That's a good idea.
at that intersection.
there used to be one.
Versus-
Because
well,
there's
there
a
is.
dead end.
Okay.
At Brown Shores West, but Brown Shores West is dead end too. So, but I mean, it's just.
Is the dead end, there is a dead end sign, or there used to be. Is
Not
it?
at Brown Shores.
Okay,
Just the west.
East to west.
okay.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah, I think
touch
we
on
should
it.
ask the neighbor, the property owner.
Is it Peggy's?
It's Peggy, I
It's
think,
Peggy
has
Morgan.
the hedge.
Yeah. The stop signs on David's?
Yeah,
Oh,
but I mean, I don't know that, I mean, I would think there's right away, I don't think. you have-
well, if he's moving it, it's easier to ask him. They probably won't mind.
We'll strong.
But we appreciate them wanting to ask.
The other thing is, I had come into the office, I'd like to get a schematic of where my sewer runs on my property.
If we have one, Lynn can send us it.
The office, I don't know if it's maybe or something, I talked to the office and they said, well, Lynn knows where they are, Lynn knows where it runs. But, I think in passing, I just said something, and he said, yeah, I think it goes, I kind of remember that one, but, and it's only, I want to know, as whenever it needs to be replaced, how much of it is my cost, because I have a third of an acre. And I don't know if it goes, I know it goes straight out our back, but I don't know if it. I think the sewer is on Brown Shores, I don't think there's anything in Brown Shores West. And I don't think it does the circles and goes back out to Amber.
Yeah, I mean, if we have it, if we have schematics, we can definitely share them with you. If we don't, he can map them out. Yeah.
With all that stuff, so there's, I think, to be able to look at these.
Okay,
I'm trying to figure it out though.
So. Can I search for it?
he said there's a dank website,
I'm not sure. I'd have to, find it myself.
and then you would probably put in your address and it will give it to you that way.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Of course.
thanks, guys. You got anything for us?
No, I just.
All right.
I'm trying to think of ways to get the word out.
We appreciate
So we
that.
At the senior citizen meeting when that came up. And there's been a real, it's kind of encouraging. There's some people that would like to volunteer.
Good.
And so they were trying to, if there was something going on, maybe.
That's how it was presented to me, that they were looking for a way in which they could help.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I wish I knew.
Members really don't get out of the village a whole lot.
Sure.
Yeah.
Some of them really are mobile.
Okay.
Yeah.
So to see them want to do some things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's, so if there's any other projects, maybe.
They might be able to help out with Can-Am somehow, whether it's helping the vendors check in when they arrive. There's ways that they could, all they have to do is sit at a picnic table in the bandstand and check people in and direct them. I mean, that could be something, and we can connect them with Brenda Derwin in a way to do that. She's always looking for people to help for that. Obviously, they can't be in the parade and doing that kind of stuff, but they can certainly help with checking people in, telling the food vendors where they're supposed to set up, where do the porta-johns, where are they meeting that person?
They wouldn't care what it is, as long as it's they're doing.
There's something, yes, okay. Yeah, yeah.
If it's something where they can sit, not have to move a lot, it would,
Okay.
especially those that aren't as mobile.
I will let Brenda know that they're looking for something and maybe she can stop into one of their meetings, or I can connect her with Nancy.
Yes.
And maybe if she connects with Nancy, Nancy can kind of help figure that out. Okay.
Hey, what do you guys, just to revisit the other issue about getting the word out? What if we printed out like 10 or 12 copies and posted them like at the bank, Chrissy Beans, wherever? I mean,
The agenda?
the agenda.
I did that with my, the newsletter I did I did like 2
Yeah.
and then I stopped because I didn't get a ton of engagement, and then Kelly's done a few.
I
Yeah,
do put the newsletter in those areas. I mean, I don't think it's gonna hurt anything.
What newsletter are you talking about?
I do the trustee report. That's
No,
it.
the one that's usually.
Yeah, it's in your email.
Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure I'm not missing.
I believe we're talking of the same one. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's
I
fine.
think it's a good idea to have it posted. You know,
I mean, frankly, I think you put the minutes from the meeting before.
yeah,
Put them in there.
there's
People want
gotta
to read it.
be
but that
some
requires
way.
the bullet points on.
Right, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
We'll add the bullet points and then print out, I don't know, we'd have to pick.
We did it for some notices, library, Chrissy Beans.
Yeah,
bank.
yeah.
I only
Yeah,
do
post office.
5 at each location
Okay.
because they don't require many more of that. So only 5 people are picking them up from the bank and only 5 people
No, but I
are picking
mean,
them up from Chrissy
No,
Beans.
this is a,
Just
this is
post
a
it.
poster.
you
Gotcha.
can walk in and read it.
It'll be interesting to see.
With the Sackets Harbor logo on it, so people know what they're.
Yeah, but you basically take this with,
Okay, so my next question is who's responsible for posting that? Because are we asking our staff to leave the office and
post-
go
I'll
I'll
post?
post them.
if there's only 5, if there's 6. 5 is,
I'll help you post them.
I don't know what else we can do, really.
think
I don't know what else we
their
can do.
intent would be, you know, let's,
We can add the bullets and then we can post it in
well, we don't add
conspicuous.
the bullets, we have to ask the board
Oh, yeah.
people to.
But we need to give our staff time to facilitate making sure that that is done.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Peggy, do you have input?
Yeah, the problem is just going to be getting the information.
Right.
In a timely fashion.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And getting it there. I mean,
Getting it timely.
All right, speaking of timely fashion, I think we're,
Yeah.
Oh, this is
Ready to
like the
go.
old days.
yeah.
Now, the minutes, they're finished.
They're posted on the website.
That's right, so they're on the website. As I said, I read everything last year.
Technically, we have 2 weeks to get them done.
That's good, okay, then that's reasonable. So then we could, if we wanted to post a copy, we could post a copy.
We could print a copy.
Yeah.
Hey,
We're gonna-
Hey, that's a nice
You could
little
be- you
volunteer
could be
job.
the
I like that.
Person to take these around and post them.
No, I'm going in the hospital, you won't see me for a while. Aren't you glad?
Put all these requests and then you leave it for us?
No, we got pals.
Because
We
if it's there and like Peggy says, give us 2 weeks to get it out, which is reasonable to get it
We'll
done.
put it right there next to
can
the
print it.
agenda, and then people can read it and fellowship all. Right?
I don't think I'll ask for permission. I'll just do
We'll
it.
do it.
It's about forgiveness, right? All right, guys, anything else? All righty, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Wow.
I already signed it, emailed this to the other one.
This is the-
Yep.
You know what? He's standing on my head. I literally tried everything.
I'll leave it to
I don't
you
know.
to.
All right.
Because I said the same thing. When I first started, there were 2 people in this meeting.